All right, I know somebody was in the comments say, hey, man, I don't like you doing videos in the dark. Hey, ain't got no choice. But I hope you're a girl. Shit, because what you want to see what another nigga look like. You feel what I'm saying? But hey, shout out to, hopefully that was a female. Niggas be weird though. But I got some information on Errol Spence. All right. So get to this, man. So I've already talked about what was the original plan somewhat, and I heard a little bit more, right? All this is allegedly behind the scenes talk. So apparently Al Heyman, if you didn't know, haven't been following the channel, Al Heyman wanted Errol Spence to fight Thurman. And apparently from what I'm hearing now, it was supposed to be 2 fights with Canelo. And what was previous said, and it came out of Crawford mouth, that it was supposed to be 2 fights at 164 pounds and, whatever it was, a catch weight with Spence, and apparently, I want to say, so yeah, my bad. He was supposed to get $50 million apiece for fighting Canelo on 2 fights, and for the Thurman fight at 54, he was supposed to get $10 million. Okay, and wait, I'm gonna say the best part for last, right? And that was supposed to be the plan, and then after that, somehow Al Heyman was gonna make him and Errol Spence and Terence Crawford for undisputed at 154 pounds. So Errol Spence was supposed to move to 54. Lil Charlo was supposed to move to 60. And then 68 was supposed to be, Big Charlo was supposed to move to 68. Obviously, we know none of that happened. Okay. So that was the plan. And, for the most part, I think Errol Spence, he still lived in Dallas. So that was it. Had he not lived in Dallas, had he lived on the East Coast or the West Coast, had he lived in Houston or somewhere else, maybe where, the whispers wouldn't have been as loud about him ducking Terence Crawford, I think he would have ducked Crawford. I don't think he could have went back to his community, especially this was a guy that was glorifying going to the hood and boxing guys. I don't think he could have went back to his community and, somebody could have took him serious. I think more people respect him that he took the Crawford fight like a man, and he took the Crawford fight like a man, and he didn't make no excuses. You know what I'm saying? I think people don't really understand that. They just think, oh, they only respect winners. A lot of times people respect how you go through adversity, how you deal, with bad news. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people respect that. A lot of your respect is built during turmoil and during challenging times, and how you keep your cool and how you, stay on your P's and Q's and shit. That's pretty much how a lot of people judge you. So I think they really respected the fact that he took that fight, he took the ass whoop and didn't make no excuses. And I think had he not took that fight and went the alternative route, now what's being said is that allegedly he said he wished he would have took the fight at 154 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it wouldn't have mattered. That ass whooping was going to be the same ass whooping. It wouldn't even have fucking matter. And at the end of the day, it wasn't going to be no Crawford and Errol Spence fight, because what they was trying to do was diminish Terence Crawford. They was probably going to feed Terence Crawford all the fights that he wanted from now. Like when he was coming, he was probably get Fondor. They probably would have set him up with Mazaliev. And this is my thing. This is my opinion on it. They would have put him through a gauntlets test. Errol Spence probably would have got clipped by Canelo twice or some shit like that. And then they would have tried to make the Errol Spence fight, and it wouldn't have been no value because Canelo already put hands, foot, toes, and elbows on Errol Spence. Had Errol Spence beat him twice, then that would have been the gamble. Or that he got the win and came back and fight Bud, then, he probably had to beat him twice, but we knew that wasn't going to happen. At a catch weight, at the 60 weight, at 68, we knew that wasn't going to happen. So what they really was trying to do was diminish, Terence Crawford's, Errol was going to get that poom beat up by Canelo, and then he was going to try to come back and fight Terence Crawford with nothing to lose, and that was going to devalue Terence Crawford. And you just think this is a black man in Al Heyman who was going out his way to destroy the reputation of another black man in Errol Spence. In Terence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Like you went out your way to, destroy this man's character. And this is what I be telling y'all, man, in boxing, man, ain't nothing but coons, man. All them niggas is coons. And y'all can say the business of boxing turned them into coons, or, y'all can say, man, I just don't really have a lot of respect for them. I was telling, somebody in the DM, like, man, I've been doing interviews since 2012. A little bit before that maybe, but I'm just say 2012. And most of the bad experiences or the hoopla runarounds was from black fighters. Not trainers, not referees. Black fighters do that, man. They don't want to interview with you, and they want to dish you, and they want to ask who you with, where you from, what's your social security number, what gang sign, what set you with. They do that shit. See, a lot of the black content creators or media members that go to these fights, they put up with a lot of disrespect. When they have a fight of means or a fight of substance, they get froze out of it. But when it comes to do, unless they kissing ass and kissing feet. But when it comes to, the meat and potato fights, the hole in the wall fights, the fights in Minnesota and Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, when it comes to their smaller shows, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to their smaller shows and they show love, they don't repay that love. That's when they let niggas in like me or guys in they don't like. And I know Town, he had made a video, shout out to Town Sports and Business, Sports and Entertainment. He was saying that, Oscar let me in and I talk shit. Oscar didn't have a choice. Wasn't nobody signing up to fight C. Virgil Ortiz. When you start to see content creators, that keep it a bean and keep it real and tell it how it is and not like how it might be, when you start seeing those guys start to get let in the fights, that means other media people didn't really care to go to that fight, especially if it's ESPN or Men's Fitness. And man, you'll see Vogue at fights and shit if it's big enough. You'll see Vogue and fucking, Lifetime Movie Network at fights. And they'll freeze the people out that really did the meat and potatoes and who did the leg work for their fights. When you start to see these guys get let into this fight, that's how you know the fight ain't that big. No Diddy, no Kanye, no Oscar De La Hoya. So that's what I be saying. That's what I be saying, man. I don't put up with much disrespect. I don't give a fuck who you is. Like, I'm good. I told y'all, man, these dudes that go on these small hack channels, these Brad channels, these Hector channels, these Keisha channels, they go on all these other channels. But then when it comes to doing something with another black person and blowing somebody else up, guess what? They want to do a whole background check on you. This is why I don't fuck with them. I be telling y'all, bro. These niggas about as real as a $2.50 bill. I don't play that shit, dog. Like, look here, man. I just don't play it. But back to the topic at hand. So he was getting 10 to fight Thurman, 50 apiece to fight Canelo. You know what I'm saying? And then they was going to spend the block on Terence Crawford. And then my assumption, and I'm going to say this came, low key, it came from the horse's mouth. But you know what? I'm just going to say keep it like that. And then my assumption was they was going to have Crawford collect all the belts that Charlo left over. He was going to go through a gauntlet, beat up an old man. But they did all that to stop that brother, man. That's sad, man. They do all that shit. They did, Al Heyman did all, and all he did, he took a lot of y'all brothers' legacy. He took a lot of y'all legacy and threw it down the drain for $1. None of you niggas deserve to get in the Hall of Fame if I'm keeping it a bean. Ain't one Hall of Famer over there. Maybe Deontay Wilder, maybe Erislandy Lara. That's about it. The rest of them niggas ain't Hall of Famers. They were just names. They just had the Nike name. You know what I'm saying? They just had the Adidas name. They just had the Fruit of the Loom name. They wasn't no names, bro. But let me tell y'all this. Apparently he who got the 30 ball, Errol Spence got the 30 ball, allegedly, this is all allegedly, he got the 30 ball, 30 million to fight Terence Crawford. He got $30 million, right? And the double checking, the good word is he allegedly only received 10 million of that 30 million. And Crawford got all his money. So, the word on the street is that Al Heyman is mad because, he lost and he didn't take the fights that Al wanted him to. So this is maybe why Al has so much influence over whether or not he should have paid, Derrick James. This is probably why he has so much influence, because he probably would have to pay Derrick James directly. And he was like, well, Derrick, this is what I'm supposed to play. Oh man, Derrick don't deserve, I think it was number 300 or 400 or 500K. Oh, this good enough. And he probably wired that shit to Derek. You know what I'm saying? He probably wired that shit to Derek, and Derek like, hold on. So that shit didn't go through Errol Spence, but damn, they like, you know, I don't know, Derek like, I don't give a fuck. If you got 10, you got the whatever 2 or 3 million or $1 million to pay me. But apparently he still owed a 20 ball, allegedly 20 million. And Al do that shit. He paid them Hispanics. He makes sure they get paid. They got flexibility, you know, all this allegedly. But them niggas, man, like I told y'all, all skin folks ain't kin folks, man. And I'm gonna do a video. I haven't decided where I'm gonna put it at, and I'm gonna put it behind a paywall on Patreon. I haven't really decided it, but I'm gonna talk about a video, you know, like the purest form of cooning. See, a lot of these niggas just think cooning is, you know, they a lot of black people are superficial, right? They look at cooning as, oh, he got a white girl, she got a Brad on her arm, right? But, you know, I really started, you know, people need to start thinking a little bit more in depth about cooning, right? I really do. Like, when you think about it, these very same people that's advocating for immigrants to be here, and these same immigrants, if they were sending niggas to a far, far away place, and you know, they would be reporting y'all to ICE, they would be helping put y'all niggas in paddy wagons. Y'all know it. But all these people who have all this sympathy in the black community for people who got hate for you, that's the purest form of coonery. That's at the top. And that's why I ain't had no, and it's a little bit above that, honestly, what's above that is what Diddy did. He violated his own people because Brad butt broke his booty hole, allegedly. But hey, hit the link in the description. Follow me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, the whole nine. Join the Patreon. All that's inside the link tree is the first link in the description. Peace.